All right. Welcome to the Persuasion Academy Live. I'm excited to talk to you today. We're going to talk about a little bit more advanced concept today that I think you might really enjoy. And let me just welcome everybody from all around the internet, from Facebook to YouTube to X, which I'm in particularly excited about, to Instagram, all over the place. Welcome to the show. It happens every Wednesday at noon Eastern. So be sure and join us. Let me bring my co host on, Ricky Emerson. There you
Doing,
are. Hi,
Kendrick?
Ricky.
Hey, how are you?
Really good. How about you?
Awesome.
Okay. So I want to talk today about how elicitation actually becomes installation. And it might sound a little strange. It's an advanced concept, but let's jump in and talk about this. So, in most any selling, or at least advanced selling, one of the things we want to do is really get into the head of the person to find out what is it that they're there for. And so, in our system, dream state selling, we start off with a simple question: what made you uh, decide to set an appointment to talk with us today? Now, if you happen to be cold calling or that kind of thing, you'll have to find a bit of a different way around it. We don't deal with that. We Everything we talk about starts with when you have a raised hand, so to speak, someone who's interested in talking to you. Okay, so if I were to demonstrate, Ricky, with you just real quick, if I
Yeah.
said, let's say we're talking about why we're talking about you calling to discuss uh, high ticket selling
Yeah.
and our program. So I
Sure.
might say, Ricky, tell me what made you decide to set an appointment to talk with me today.
Well, Kendrick, I've went through some of your stuff years ago and made a significant difference in my life, and I see you got this new thing called dream state selling, and I'm definitely want to know more about that.
Okay, perfect. So right there is where the majority of salespeople start going wrong, because the majority would go, "Oh, are you having some issues with selling?" So they're going to start looking to bring that into the negative.
Yeah.
Not smart.
No.
So let's instead go, okay, that makes a lot of sense, Ricky.
Yeah.
Tell me what's important about learning more about dream state selling and how it can apply for you.
Well, I'm somebody who has a belief that there's always room to improve. I'm doing okay now, but I feel like learning this process and some of the distinctions might get me to a higher level.
Okay, so Ricky is zeroing right into values. He wants to go to a higher level, meaning improving his sales or, making more sales.
Hmm.
So now that we've identified, and I'm really looking for four different things. I'm looking for beliefs, I'm looking for values, I'm looking for roles that he might be playing and referring to, or I'm looking for identity statements. Now, by the way, somebody from X uh, said in our last conversation here, Ricky, they said
Hmm.
no, identity is just simply who you are, and
Hmm.
it's not useful to be elicited. Wrong.
Hmm.
So identity is the one of the most leverageable things. Sure, I
100%.
am who I am. You are who you are. I'm not countering that.
Hmm.
I'm saying if we hear a statement of identity, I am the person who learns
Hmm.
the fastest I can about, selling in general. Well, that's infinitely leverageable and connectable to what I do.
Yep.
So
100%.
we're at the level of values with you. So Ricky, what's important about doing better, getting more, doing, learning more and using this to get ahead further?
Well, it's just about being more effective with the time that I have. So if my skill level gets high enough, I can put in the same amount of time, but make more money and also make greater impact in what I'm doing.
Okay. So we've gone now to a high value, which is money and impact.
Hmm.
Impact actually being the stronger of the two, but they're relatively equal
Hmm.
as he's saying it right here. Okay, so ultimately, Ricky, if you could have that money and if you could make that impact, how would that be influencing you now?
Well, I would have a lot more confidence in my ability to hit some longer term goals that I have set for myself. And knowing that my skill set is as high as it can go, that would be it would be amazing.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I've got the high leverage. Now I want to find a reference experience for it.
Hmm.
So I'm going to shift Ricky to the past and I'm going to find that reference experience. Ricky, I'll bet there's been a time in your past when you have wanted to get something going. You've wanted to do something that would help you with a long-term thing that you're working at doing, whether it
Yeah.
be with your family or else. Okay.
Yeah.
As you think about that, can you tell me about it?
Yes, when I first, got involved in sales in the first place, right? I mean, I went from, making barely enough money to make end meets to, being able to really have access. And, and,
Yes.
uh, and then I learned, early on that the better I got at sales, the more money and impact that I could have.
Perfect. And that must give you a lot of faith that together, as we work on these specific skills,
Hmm.
you can bring that to bear for the
Yes.
longer term goals that you have.
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious about something. When do you want the ability to bring that to bear so that your long term goals come about quicker?
Now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So far, I've demonstrated the elicitation. I've I've furthered that by getting a reference experience by shifting Ricky to the past. There's very specific reasons for each of the things I'm doing.
Hmm.
But we have that strong elicitation and we've coupled it with a reference experience from his past. Okay. What I want to talk about today is how that elicitation becomes actually an installation.
Mm.
And I want to talk about this by way of showing you some things that don't work real well. But yet, typical salespeople will get this and not know what to do with it. So let's say in the beginning I asked you what made you want to have this discussion with me,
Yeah.
and you said I just want to learn more about what you offer. Let's say
Yes.
that's where we are, right?
Yep.
The average salesperson is going to go, well, yeah, that makes good sense. Let me talk a little bit about that, and
Yeah.
and off goes a spew, what I call a pitch or a spew. They're just going to spew about what they have. My question, and Ricky, if you got something like that, why would you almost even answer?
Yeah, it's nothing there, right?
No,
Yeah. Why now? Is what I would ask.
that's exactly correct. And yet, most people don't because they are needy
Hmm.
and they think they have an obligation to yap. Well, here's the problem with I just wanted to learn more about what you offer. There's no emotional leverage. They're in a neutral or intellectual state, which
Yep.
does not drive action. That's
Yep.
the problem with it. So we have to convert that, if at all possible, to an action and an emotional state.
Yeah.
So you just wanted to learn more about what I offer. Let's say you said to me, I just wanted to learn more about what you offer.
Yeah.
My response would be exactly like you said. Why now, Ricky?
Yeah. You want me to respond?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just seen your ad a few times, and it's like, hey, let's figure out what these people are about.
Yeah, but why now?
Well, I'm looking to improve my sales skills, and and I'm seeing. I know you have a lot of credibility in the space, and I was wanting to find out what you guys do differently.
Fair enough. Now we're getting into the reality of Ricky's situation. He wants to make more sales, and
Hmm.
he wants to know if there's something here that can help him do it. I'm not going to answer his question directly.
Yep.
People out there may be going, why? Why wouldn't I answer it? Because I don't have the leverage I want yet.
Mhm.
So let's look for a second at that question. I've tried a lot of things before. Well, no, the question, I have another one I'll share, which is what I was talking to say, but I just wanted to learn more about what you offer.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the problem. If I talk about it, it's installing that
Hmm.
you're not sure if there's anything here for you.
Yep.
The installation is installing that we don't know if there's something here or not, but you'll make that decision. Right?
Yep. Yep.
I won't have those conversations. I
Exactly.
won't
Yeah.
even,
No, they're trying to take the frame right there, and no, it's not worth it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let my dog out. I don't know
yeah,
if
yeah.
this is. I don't know if you hear on this, and I'll be right back. Take me
No
five
worries. Go right
seconds.
ahead. So the point here is that when you are eliciting something and it's not going the way you want, you have to change it. You have to move it to something else. I want to share another one with you. So this one would be something like, well, what made you set the appointment to talk with me today? And they say, I've tried a lot of things before, and I want to see if this is actually different. I wouldn't have the discussion not on those terms. I would flip that, and I would flip it to be something like, well, clearly you've learned enough about what I do or what we do here that made it worthwhile for you to come and have a conversation. What was that? If they can't tell me, then I'm not going to have the conversation.
No,
You know what these
you don't want to do the song and dance, right? They'll have
no,
you on your back foot the whole time, and no, it's not worth it.
that's exactly it. It's like going to guy goes to a car dealership. Hey, I see you looking over here at this Lexus.
Hmm.
That's a pretty nice car. What brought you here today? Oh, well, my wife is getting her hair done just down the street a ways, and I figured, why not come check out the Lexuses? I mean, people say things like that, and
Hmm.
and if they really have no desire to drive a Lexus, what are they there for?
Yeah, just
And if
wasting
they,
time.
yeah, and if they do have a desire to drive one, why are they so resistant?
Hmm.
And of course, people are resistant to selling, which is why dream state selling exists, because we will
Yeah.
wipe that out in seconds.
Yep.
Okay. So again, here we're dealing with skepticism. We're dealing with doubt as if we, the salesperson, is expected to overcome it. No, we'll overcome it through changing the elicitation. Because if I continued with doubt in your mind, I'm installing that we don't know if that is going to stay there or not.
Yep.
And if it does, well, then you'll make up your mind someday in the future, and you'll let me know.
Yeah.
I have those kinds of conversations.
Yeah, it'll always end up in, well, let me think about it. Just give me a few days. I got to move some things around. Let me think about this a little bit longer. And then next thing you know, like you're not hearing from them, and they then ghost at you.
But what happens is that people do say these things to salespeople when the call starts,
Hmm.
and salespeople don't know what to do about it. And that's the issue. And it's so easy when you really understand that we're eliciting what will install a successful close.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of this.
It's
So,
powerful.
yes, extremely. And I could go on and on with problems, but let's go to some of the one of the worst problems. Person says, I'm just looking because I don't want to get left behind, but I don't know if I can actually do this. A fear-based problem, a pain-based problem. And now some of you out there are going, well, why is that a problem? I elicit pain all the time. That's what we do. No, we don't. Not smart ones. You see, here's the thing. Since the middle 1800s, pain has been a central core of selling. Middle 1800s. Now tell me, do you think your market has grown up some since the middle 1800s? Do you think it still works for a salesperson to get dressed up in a three-piece suit and tie, nice shiny shoes, and walk out on the farm where the farmer's interested in buying a tractor? I can tell you it doesn't, and it's not done that way anymore. Sales strategies change, human nature doesn't, but the way in which we interact with it, work with it, shape it, does change. The pain-based stuff is old-fashioned, and people know when you're doing it.
Oh yeah. And as soon as they feel that, like, their level of trust in you, in my mind, it goes all the way down to the floor. This guy is using sales techniques on me.
That's right. He's not just having a great conversation with me, moving me towards where I want to go.
Yep.
He's trying to manipulate me.
Yep.
This is a real problem. This kind of thing can lead people to paralysis. There's a reason why it's called fight, flight, or freeze. Freeze, paralysis. Fight, you're wrong. I don't know that that's going to work for me. Flight, you know what? I got to think about it. I'll get back to you. So these things are what happens when we invoke the negative. That's what happens. But let's look at it the other way around. Let's look at if somebody uses an identity statement when we ask them, tell me what made you set an appointment to talk with me today. This person says, I want to be someone who can persuade at the highest level. I want to be someone. An identity statement. Holy smokes. That's powerful. Yep. Ricky, tell me that. I want to be someone who can persuade at the highest level.
Yeah, Kendrick, I definitely want to be somebody who can persuade at the highest levels and get results beyond anybody else on my team.
When you see somebody who thinks like that, Ricky, what do you believe to be true about them?
Yeah, that they make it happen. They're always doing what it takes. They're investing in themselves. They're coachable.
Out of curiosity, Ricky, when do you want this to happen?
Now.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine there's been a time in your life that you have as a reference experience where you made it happen. No matter what, you made it happen. You got ahead. You remember?
Yeah. It's my whole life.
Yeah, but one time.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, well, I followed the plan of the coach, and I started getting results. I mean, I went from making hardly any sales to to closing almost everybody I spoke to. I mean, it was miraculous.
Miraculous. Absolutely. Yeah. And let me tell you something. At that moment, didn't you feel that sense of identity? Like, man, I can do this.
Oh yeah.
Now, what are we installing here? So we're eliciting on this side the idea of an identity-based strategy where you're the person that wants to sell more to get longer-term benefits. At the same time, I'm installing that this is who you are, and I'm relating it to what I do.
Powerful.
That is such a difference.
100%.
The elicitation is the installation. The installation moves you forward. You've even told me the time frame. When?
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. Wow. And I didn't have to do any jumping up and down or doing weird things or hopping in circles or spewing or pitching.
Mhm.
Nothing. And you're 3/4 of the way now into buying my product,
Oh
into
yeah.
buying my service.
Yep.
This is the point. With the dream state selling process, we use authority, we frame what we're doing. And by the way, you hear no weird framing on my part, like, let me tell you how this is going to go. First, I'm going to get to know you a little bit. And then by the time we're done, you'll make a decision, yay or nay. It doesn't make any difference. Sound fair enough? We don't do that BS. Anybody that does that is creating more resistance in about 5 seconds than you can ever overcome in an hour's call.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We're eliciting exactly what we need to hear. And we do it by asking the most innocent of questions. What made you decide to call me today? If everybody listening right now would just jot this down, what made you decide to schedule a time to talk with me today? Now, this works for anybody who's not cold calling.
Mm-hmm.
If you're cold calling, you'll have a very different way around it. But once you get a person to raise their hand and say, I'm interested, well, now there we go.
That's
What
it.
made you interested in talking to me today? So here we go. Once we get an answer to that, we have to learn to shape it. And that's part of what this is, but you're hearing me doing it left and right. Once we shape it, we have to make sure that it's going to the positive, not to the negative, because we get smeared with that same negative brush if we go to the negative. I'm eliciting exactly what will help me move forward in the sale, in the timeline that you want to do it now. Who doesn't want it now?
Yeah.
We're already overcoming the objection of, I got to think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. When did you want this to happen?
Yeah. Now. Yesterday. Right.
When you are in a positive state, Ricky, and you feel good and you're imagining everything working the way you want it to work, mm-hmm. How do you feel?
Oh, it feels like I can take on anything.
Here's the thing. When we get this kind of elicitation, what happens is the gravity of what you want in a positive way is weighing on you. You want that. You're in that. You're in that mode going, oh my God, I this is exactly what I want. Yeah. You're not in the analysis of, can that happen? You're in the, oh my goodness, that's what I want.
Yeah.
You assume that it can happen here. Let me ask you, Ricky, when you go to the doctor and you say, doctor, I got a problem with my elbow. I practice martial arts. Mm-hmm. I did this hit and I kind of overextended my elbow, I think. I don't know, but man, the pain is just skyrocketing up my upper arm.
Yeah.
And the doctor goes, let me see your arm. Does this hurt? Okay. Yeah. Does this hurt? Okay, let me tell you what you got. It's assumed when he tells you that you believe he can fix it.
Yeah.
If he can't fix it, he would know what's wrong. He's going to tell you now how to fix it. We're going to tell people how they can have what they want. And they want it so strong that it becomes easy to do. It's emotional. It's not logic.
Yeah.
It's not logic. Sales are not made with logic. We can throw in a little bit of logic sounding things to help people stay on track, but it's really about the logic. Anything you want to say about what we're talking about here?
No, I mean, it's just extremely effective. And plus too, once you get people in these emotional highs, like, right. I mean, everybody knows that, hey, people buy from emotion and justify with logic. So, but once that emotion is so high and the person is really believing that what you have can get them what they want, then I mean it's game over at that point, right? I mean, you have to, like I said, you have to probably turn down people who's not a good fit for what you're offering. But when people, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kendrick, but in my brain, this is the way I got it. If people's emotions are high enough, whatever their goals, desires, dreams, identity, all of that stuff, if they truly believe that what you have to offer as a salesperson, right, can get them there, that's the whole art of persuasion.
And let me just add, when they are in that dream state, is why we call it dream state selling.
Yeah.
They are already believing. It's like the doctor saying, I know what's wrong. Let me show you what to do.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They're there. They want it. They believe that this is what works. And therefore, I always say, you have to have integrity. You have to do this right. You have to have honor and belief in what you do. You have to be a product of the product yourself. Because if you are, then you're talking from that sense of integrity that is so all-fired important. So with that, I want to give just a couple of quick ideas. If we can, let's get the banner that shows you. We have a Facebook group. Please come. Right now, we've got 7 free lessons. Not going to last long, but right now we have 7 free lessons that you can take advantage of. So come join the Facebook group. In the guides section, you'll find those 7 free. And these are 7 real lessons. They're half hour long, most of them each. Got to try to shut me up when it comes to this stuff. But go there and understand it. And if you make your living selling, you'll want to reach out and say, hey, I really want to know more. I gotta learn this. It's the most powerful method that exists, and I'm not kidding. I don't care if you've been trained in Sandler sales system or whatever sales system. This will blow your socks off. It makes the time it takes to sell less, and it makes the ease even easier. And you can avail yourself of all of it. And no, it's not cheap, but let me tell you something. It is the most incredible thing you have ever seen. Prove it to yourself. Go listen to these 7 lessons and then reach out. Tell us what you think. And with that, Ricky, any last words?
No, just go through the 7 lessons, and there's a lot more beyond that will make this even better. So if you even get a fraction of what's in those 7 videos and you want to take it to the next level, let us know, then we'll help you get there.
Perfect. And thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you next week, same time.